Today I want to talk to you on the subject culture, the most powerful factor in an organization. More important than anything else is the culture of an organization. And culture is a way of life cultivated over time through three things. Culture is cultivated by, number one, behavior. Number two, symbols. And number three, systems. And these three things, behavior, symbols, systems, are outward displays of what is valued. And that is what culture is. Culture is created as a result of the messages employees receive about how to behave around here. As human beings, we are hardwired to adjust and fit into the communities of which we are members. This is essential if we are to become accepted socially, and in the case of an employer, if we are to keep our job. Employees pick up these messages about expected behavior and adjust their own accordingly, and those who cannot or will not adjust tend to leave on their own free will or be ejected. These messages tell us what is valued in this organization, and they are received from three different sources. Again, behavior, symbols, and systems. For example, behavior. The behavior that is played out through others, especially those that are in positions of authority. The behavior is what is done rather than what is said. It can be in small groups, one-on-one, or it can be in large groups. But it is the behavior that is being fleshed out. When I pastored in San Diego, what we had was a church that was growing very fast, and we were landlocked on a few acres and building, and we had to go through a major relocation. That's another story. But here we are in this landlocked area, and we're having to be creative, and we had literally 4 services on Sunday morning trying to handle crowds. And so what I needed is I needed a lot of people to park off property because we didn't have enough parking space. And so literally there was a place across the street and down the road and about a block away that you could park cars. And so I had to create a culture, a behavior system that people could understand and buy in. And so when I told the leaders that they couldn't park on the property, in fact, when people joined the church, I said, the good news is you become a member. The bad news is you can't park on the property. Now, see, most congregations, the members, it's a country club for them. They get to park in the closest places. No, we parked in the farthest places. And what I did is I would get there first in the morning because I'm getting ready for the day, 4 services. You got to get mentally, spiritually ready. So I'd go maybe at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would park a block away, and I would walk to the church. Now, could I have parked right by the front door? Of course I could have parked by the front door. But I realized I couldn't get my leaders to park away if I didn't park away. Are you seeing this? This is behavior. This is fleshing out by example what you want your other people to do. And you set your culture you set your culture not by what you say, you set your culture by what you do. Remember this, the greatest motivational principle in the world is people do what people see. So behavior is part of it. Now, symbols are also. Symbols such as how time is spent, how money is allocated, office space, who gets the best offices, titles, who gets promoted, favored, how communication works. What is symbolic about your business that creates the culture of it? For example, and again, I could take any of these and talk about them and illustrate it. Office space. Office space I've always felt is overrated. Let me tell you a cute story. When I started my company in San Diego, Enjoy, I wanted to develop a company to resource leaders. Of course, we had very little money. We were just small. Half of us were volunteers in the beginning. And so we were in like a strip mall, and we had a section there to have our offices, and we were growing extremely fast. So, I mean, we had a handful of employees, and pretty soon we got 50, 75, 100, and this thing's it's just exploding. Well, we can't keep up. We don't have space. And I told him, I said, well, give up my office. Let somebody else have my office. And so I gave my office away. It kind of unnerved a lot of people because they thought, well, John, you need an office. You're the owner of the company. No, I don't need an office. I can hang. I'll go from room to room. I can go to people's offices and talk to them. And so it was no problem. The number one leadership magazine in the country is called Leadership Magazine. And they wanted to come out and they wanted to interview me and wanted to do a feature article on my leadership stuff. So I said, fine, come on out to San Diego where I am. And so immediately my crew began to worry because, again, they were going to come out and interview me. They were bringing photographers. They were doing all this stuff. I mean, they were bringing in the whole van with all the, because it was a front cover deal and the whole deal. And they were saying, but John, you don't have an office. I said, I don't need an office. It's okay. I can do an interview without an office. And about 2 weeks before they came, in the back hallway was a storage closet. And one day I just got the idea. I thought, you know what? I think I'll just clear the storage closet out. So I had him clear the storage closet out, and I put a card table in because there wasn't any room. It was only about 8 feet by 10 feet. You got the picture? It was a glorified telephone booth. And I got a card table, and I got a folding chair on one side and put a folding chair on the other side. And I got a picture of my family and stuck it on the wall. And this is so funny. So they come out for the interview. And so I go out into the little front area where they were, and they said, good to have you. Come on back to my office. And so I'm leading them through all these other places and some nice offices, and we just keep going back, and we get to the end of the hallway, and we go into the closet. And I said, I'm sorry, because they had 7 people. They had 2 cameramen. And I said, you know what, we'll have to do this in shifts. You know what I'm saying. So whoever's going to interview, you can come in, and I'll sit in this chair, and you sit on that chair, and the rest of you can kind of take turns and just rotate. You know what I mean? Just have at it. It's all yours. So the guy sits down to do the interview, and another guy standing behind him, and they're just looking around. And I'm just inside, horribly, dysfunctionally happy. Okay. You're getting to know me well, aren't you, huh? I mean, I'm just saying I am messing with you like you haven't been messed with for a long time. And I know they're getting ready for this interview, and they get the recorders. I mean, they're doing video. I mean, it's a feature article, front cover stuff. Oh, and so they start asking questions, and I'm just answering the question. Because I know it's only a matter of time. And can I tell you something? I ain't going until they're asking. And we're about in the 3rd or 4th question, and finally the guy said, he just kind of puts his things, and I said, is this really your office? And I said, oh yeah, I'm so excited. I said, I just got it. I said, I'm just thrilled. I just got it because I didn't have one a couple weeks ago, and the team felt I should have one since I own the company, and I didn't know if I really needed it, but so we cleaned out the closet, and I'm sorry we got the folding chair, but the folding table does good. It works fine. And the guy says, well, I've done a lot of interviews with leaders, and I've never seen an office like this. And I said, well, I know. And I said, again, you want to take some pictures or something? You can. But my family's right there on that concrete block wall right there if you want to focus in there. And then I proceeded to tell him, in things of importance, offices don't matter. They really don't. Now, again, I'm not opposed to a good office. I'm just telling you, it's a cultural thing. And what I was telling my people was this. If you're in a cubicle, it's okay to be in a cubicle. It's all right. What we're doing is trying to help people. But I wanted to set a precedence as far as a culture. It's a symbol. People aren't impressed with you because you've got a great office. They're not impressed with you because you've got a certain degree. They're not impressed with you because you've got a certain... They're impressed with you when you add value to them and when you care about them and when they can trust you. Symbols, behavior, systems. The systems are part of the culture. What gets measured, what gets reported on, how we pay people, budgeting, structure, all of this stuff. The organization itself has an invisible quality, a certain style, a character, a way of doing things that may be more powerful than the dictates of any one person or formally documented system. To understand the essence or soul of the organization, it requires that we travel below the charts, rule books, machines, and buildings into the underground world of the corporate cultures. Organizational culture includes tangibles and intangibles. The things we see are the way people dress and behave and look, and the corporate offices, the messages of posters on the walls. Here we go. Important statement. The intangibles may be harder to grasp, but they give a better read on the organization's true personality, the organization's values, stated and unstated, beliefs, assumptions, what and how success is celebrated, how problems are addressed, the manifestations of trust and respect at all levels of the organization. These are the intangible elements of culture. Every group in society, family, town, state, nation, company, church, civic group, team, or any other gathering of people has a culture, and sometimes clearly identified, but often camouflaged.